What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. As always, we like to start the week with our Bitcoin and Ethereum updates. In this video, we'll be talking about Ethereum, how last week closed, and what we're looking for with this new weekly open. So let's get into the video. All right, everybody, we will go ahead and hop in here. I mentioned it in my Bitcoin video, not the best weekly close. I actually hated it. I actually hate how it came about. If you don't know, over the weekend, there was some tariff drama, EU tariffs, Trump tariffs. It's always something, whether it's China or Trump or whatever. Like, it's actually the most annoying thing possible. It happened on Saturday. There's literally no move out of the crypto market. And then obviously stock futures opened, what was that, 5 p.m., whatever it was, an hour before close. So they opened an hour before close and they opened down due to this tariff stuff, which is super annoying. And then we dump. We did not get what we wanted out of the weekly close, but all hope is not lost, and that's what we'll talk about in the video. So I guess it's okay to start out with the weekly candles. I wanted to close, and I had this line on the Bitcoin chart as well. I wanted to close above this line here. Now we have a weekly to daily swing model to deal with, which you can see right here, which makes things pretty annoying. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and dive into the weekly chart first. Momentum is probably a good place to start. But we had momentum increasing, still have momentum increasing, even with the close last week. That's going to be right here. Momentum is still turning up. So that's a positive. That looks good. Now, would I like to close with momentum up and no weekly swing model and above key levels? Absolutely, but we can't always get what we want, especially in this market. I will say though, if you look at Ethereum, kind of nice. I mentioned this in last week's video too, right? Kind of taking this little stair step currently, even on the weekly time frame. So if we are able to, if this is the dip on Ethereum and this is as low as we go, that ends up being, a pretty nice deal for us. Okay. Sorry, I had to hop over to this other chart real quick. On Ethereum, same with Bitcoin, there is some liquidity lower. I think it's a little bit higher than this, right? Sorry, I meant a little bit higher. So in this area in here, there is some liquidity currently. Now, I mentioned this in the Bitcoin video too. If we get this weekly to daily swing model to confirm, and we do get some move down, I don't expect us to kind of just stop here, but rather maybe get a dip a little bit lower into that liquidity. So far, with everything that we're seeing when it comes to Ethereum priced in Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, as well as our weekly momentum, it's not the biggest worry in the world. And I do think if you are sidelined or if you were looking for positions, that's definitely the place to do it. I also mentioned this in the Bitcoin videos, like we're kind of in this little no man's land area, which is never a good place to be taking position. I would have loved to close the week, close the day, get some sort of action above this FY25 open. We have closed above it on Bitcoin, just not on Ethereum, which I find frustrating. All right, we can go ahead and move on to the 3-day chart. Same as Bitcoin, we do have a buy signal on the 3-day time frame, which is super, super positive coming in on this candle right here. Looking at momentum, momentum did close up on the 3-day. Currently, what is it? Flat right now. Currently flat right now. Next 3-day close is going to be on Wednesday. So definitely be looking out for that, see where that does end up closing. Anyways, price started moving really, really fast in here. Anytime price starts moving fast, we typically do revisit said levels, right? You can see that a few places in here, price moved really quickly down. We revisited. Okay, price moved really quickly up. We kind of revisit. It's just how markets work. Okay, so getting back to this level isn't a super, super shocker, especially with what we talked about last week in Bitcoin's video with some sort of move down into that liquidity. Definitely would want to see that come in, because once you do wipe out the liquidity to the downside, that's when you can actually work on a move up. And I would assume, I haven't looked right now, I would assume there's a ton of shorts opening. People see this move down and they get scared or they get aggressive or whatever, and shorts typically do end up opening. So like I said, kind of this no man's land area, 3-day candle. Definitely want to look and see how that closes out, especially the momentum. on the 3-day time frame, and we will kind of go from there. Daily time frame, nothing that you wouldn't expect. Daily momentum actually closed up on Sunday, even with this dump into close, and currently down now. But again, we don't really know how this is going to shake out throughout the rest of the day. Stock market is closed, like I mentioned. So what happens tomorrow? Obviously I don't know, but this is definitely something that you want to look out for, be on the radar for. If you want to know how this ends up closing, how it does end up closing, hop in my free Discord, go ahead and ask me in there. I will screenshot and let you guys know. But nothing really happening on the 3-day time frame. When it comes to my positioning, I guess we can talk about that here. I do have a long on Ethereum, and I think it's right in here. Targeting the all-time high. Stop is below this low, I believe. Okay, so obviously this thing is still running. Swing trade, honestly, I've been trying to get back into day trading. I just can't. I can't muster myself to do it. I'm just not a fan. Everything is too volatile, especially in crypto, that I just end up looking at levels that are on the daily time frame, and those are the only times I feel confident to take a day trade. And this is me personally. This is like the only times I feel confident to take a day trade is at the levels that I have marked out on the daily time frame. But then if I'm gonna take a trade on the daily time frame, why would I not just swing it to potential daily targets? Like I don't know. It just it just doesn't make sense to me to take longs in here, and yeah, they worked out, didn't work out, whatever. Probably take longs in here, whatever. I would rather just not even mess with leverage and stuff like that, and then go ahead and take the swing and stuff. But that's just me personally. Anywho, moving on. Daily time frame. Again, we want to see how today closes. 4-hour time frame, nothing really special to talk about in here. Again, we're kind of just in this no man's land. We do have liquidity lower. Let me go pull up that chart again, right down here. So we do have this pocket of liquidity. Could be a little bit higher than this, but let's see kind of what happens first. Do we reclaim the FY25 open? Same as Bitcoin, right? If we can reclaim this, you get bullish. If we get a move down in here, you get bullish. Anything kind of in here is up for grabs. Who really knows what can happen? Yes, stuff can work out, but at least for me and my systems and the way that I like to operate, it's just kind of a no man's land area for me. I think we forgot to talk about daily momentum. No, we did. So closed up. So 3-day momentum closed up, weekly momentum closed up, daily momentum closed up. Obviously 4-hour rolled over, but it's kind of irrelevant to what we're talking about here. And that's mainly due to strength out of Ethereum priced in Bitcoin. One of my reasons to kind of remain overall bullish on the market for now. So yeah, good to see that. Hopefully that continues. We can continue to have strength in Ethereum, but I guess we'll just keep this pretty short, honestly. That's all I really have. I kind of had to digest this information rather quickly, so I apologize if the update videos aren't the best today, but we will definitely, hopefully we don't get some crazy ass close again next week, and it kind of gives me time to formulate some thoughts and plan ahead. I did mention it in my Bitcoin video too, like do go check out my updates from last week because those are still relevant. We didn't get the flip of the FY25 open. We have weekly to daily swing models on both of these coins. So definitely go check out those videos from last week, the updates from last week, because I think they are still relevant. But anyways, we will go ahead and wrap it up here. I do want to let you guys know I do have a free Discord. You can join anytime, hop in there, ask me questions. If you need updates on any of the stuff we're talking about in these videos, you can go ahead and do that, and I will gladly update you guys. But if not, if you guys would just want to watch the videos, that's fine too. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.